Hello again, team. Let's go over the troubleshoot side of an aspirator. So maybe you have a service for a suction machine. Let's go ahead and go over all the possible services that may be going on. So first off, just like I said prior, look at the power cord. Is it in a power outlet? Is it in the power strip? It has to be a power outlet. Maybe it's if in the power strip it's not producing, it won't even turn on. So from there, we have to check if it's on a hard, sturdy surface. Again, I know that sounds like common sense, but it is not. I've come across a couple of suction machines where they're just sitting in a couch. Because of that, they're dented in. And also these vents on the side, of course, are covered, making it overheat. Even the table, this was on a table, but again, a lot of people put a lot of things over the bed table to the point where I looked, I couldn't even see the suction machine on the table. So again, told me, hey, most likely these vents are not free and clear and it is overheating. So maybe our power cord's in, we're on a sturdy surface, there's nothing blocking the vents, like okay, let's go ahead and check our tubing. Is our tubing on really snug? Is anything exposed? Okay, so tubing's okay. Now let's look at this lid. This lid has to be on very tightly and make sure everything's closed. So this is closed here. And even we have a blue lid suction machine. It has an ortho spot. Make sure that's closed. No hole should be exposed at all. And same with our jar. Our jar, remember the lid doesn't twist, it pops right off. If you don't loosen it a couple of times before taking off, if you just ripped it off, it could totally crack that jar, making it where it's not gonna work anymore. And just like I said prior, this is our suction shutoff filter. So the real purpose of that is if the person was using this machine, not paying attention, and now this is filled all the way to the top, once that water hits that filter, it's an automatic suction shutoff filter, meaning it's just gonna stop. It's not gonna suction anymore. So again, so maybe if they poured this out, if you ever see that this is wet, that's gonna be your problem there. Most likely you're just gonna switch that out, but just again, pay attention to it. So now let's go to our yonker. This is something that we should all pay attention to when we're setting up our machine. Actually, I should have said it prior. So if you look at your yonker, first thing you're gonna check for is it inline? So what is inline? Inline, I'm glad that this one has it. Inline is when there's a hole here. So we have to cover up this hole and then we get suction. So imagine you just explain this to a family, you didn't check the yonker. Maybe 30 minutes later or the next day or maybe even the on-call, they're like, hey, my suction machine's not working. They're gonna go, everything looks fine. They're gonna set it up again. And then when they get the yonker, hopefully they explain this. The family's like, oh my gosh, we didn't know. So the whole time that first person could have just said, hey, make sure you cover your yonker hole or your inline and it's gonna suction. So really pay attention to this. And same thing with our coiled suction catheter. This is inline as well. Really, we don't recommend the family members using this. This is more attachment for the nurse. So after you explain this, I like to show the family this. But I say this attachment your nurse likes to use, and we will put it here just in case. And also, Christian and Carson gave me a great example. His suction machine, we have fuses in the back. He actually saw a fuse was loose. He tightened the fuse, and the machine was working great. So I'm sure a lot of you have some suction stories. Please share them. But for the most part, these are your main points that you want to pay attention to. From here, and never be shy. A lot of times when it comes to a suction machine, it's human error. So we explain this to the family. Maybe they forgot one aspect of it, and that's the reason why. Or they used it, and they switched these two tubings. You're going to pay attention to that as well. For the most part, whenever I see a service for a suction machine, I'm going to explain to the family again how to use it. And most of the time, like, oh my gosh, that's what we did. We forgot to do that. So either way, just pay attention, and yeah, let's be as helpful as possible. Okay? I hope this was useful. Thank you, everybody.